The Roses of Whitsworth Garden. In the quiet little town of Pettleton, there was an ancient rose garden known as Whitsworth Garden. This garden was not just old, but legend had it that the roses here were the wisest beings in the entire town. The garden was an open secret. Every Pettleton resident knew about it, but none spoke of it, for fear that the world would swarm their peaceful hideaway. One day, Mr. Tompkins, a school teacher known for raising his voice, decided to spend his afternoon in Whitsworth. He sat on a bench, taking in the intoxicating fragrance of the roses, when suddenly he heard a whisper, "Psst. Sir, might you tone it down a bit?" Startled, Mr. Tompkins looked around, his eyes finally settling on a large, radiant red rose that seemed to be looking directly at him. "Was that you?" he asked, incredulously. "Why, yes," replied the rose. "You see, we roses have always been gentle beings. We've observed humans for centuries and have noticed that raising your voice seldom helps. If you speak calmly and kindly, the world listens." Mr. Tompkins blinked. I don't believe this. I must be dreaming." A nearby white rose chimed in. "Oh, it's quite real. And might we add, if you treat your students like delicate petals, they'll bloom wonderfully under your care." Word began to spread about the talking roses. Soon, Whitsworth Garden was filled with townsfolk seeking advice. There was Mrs. Granger, who was notorious for her impatience. She stood in front of a yellow rose, who said, "Dear, imagine if we roses bloomed in a hurry. We'd miss the beauty of the process. Patience is the water that nurtures growth." Even young Timmy, the local bully, found himself in front of a bold blue rose. "You know, strength isn't shown by how many people you can push down, but by how many you can lift up. Be a trellis, not a thorn." The garden became a beacon of wisdom, and Pettleton transformed. Arguments became discussions, frowns turned into smiles, and impatience transformed into understanding. One day, a tourist remarked, "This is such a peaceful town. What's your secret?" The mayor, with a twinkle in his eye, replied, "Let's just say we've learned to stop and smell the roses." And so, the roses of Whitsworth Garden became the humorous, gentle teachers of a town that once forgot the simple joys of kindness. Through their whispers, they reminded everyone that every thorn has its rose, and every lesson its bloom.